Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. Meow. My name is Tonia, and today we are discussing the Virgo full moon for you air signs. That's right, air signs came in first in the poll when I asked everybody what house is this full moon happening in for you. So today, if you are a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius ascendant, sun, or moon, then this is your video for what you can expect in the next month, because full moons take a month to go away after happening. So it's a month until the next full moon, you see? Anyway, before we do jump into all the juicy details, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius peoples out there, a couple quick announcements. Number one, I'm very excited. We are officially having our first webinar, which is a private event. It is absolutely free of charge. All you need to do if you want to join us this upcoming Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time in a Zoom room is email RSVP, and that's in the title box, to my Gmail address in the description of this video down below. So just send me an email with RSVP in the title. I will send you the video link to join. That's going to be a super duper fun event. We are featuring actually astrology students of mine. So this is part of my awareness campaign, if you will, for my upcoming course that is happening in May. So if you are interested in learning more about astrology, if you are somebody who just wants to put on their cranial cap and dissect the chart and talk about it and talk about what your personal experiences under this Virgo full moon energy have been, then this is a fun, free, super casual event. It's going to be like this, but we'll all be here live together. So yeah, that's all I got to say on that. And moving forward into your forecast, let us look at the chart. So let's start with Libras, just because I know. Actually, no, I'm gonna go with the flow. That's what I'm gonna do. We'll see. Who am I gonna start with? Who's gonna come up first? Well, if I go backwards, it'll be Libra instead of Aquarius. All right, you win, Libras, you win. And there I am, a Libra a Libra sun. Girl, boy, Mercury is still retrograde at the time of this filming, okay? Okay, so Libras, here we go. If this is you under this Virgo full moon, this is going to be happening in your 12th house. And so for 12th house lunation events, these are more subconscious shifts, also awareness of an occult study or an occult pursuit, because the 12th house is deeply associated with that which is hidden. And if you look up the root of occult, it actually means hidden. So this is actually a very like subconscious spiritual place of awareness, if you will, that you're being given an insight to under the next specifically 4 weeks. And so with that said, you know, Virgo is very cranial, very like articulate about their words, very articulate about their thought processes. So for you to have this in the 12th house with a moon there, with a lunation event there, this is going to be deep subconscious work that you're somehow able to think about, if that makes any sense. I know that's contradictory in and of itself, but it's like maybe it's reflections or analytical assessments based on what you feel at a deep level you've been subconsciously processing, if that makes any sense. So that's just what I predict for that. But then Mercury, because we have to look at the ruler of the sign that the moon is in, which in this case is Mercury. Mercury is over here conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius, which is really glorious energy, because Jupiter is all about spirituality and belief systems and angels and guides and things that are really benevolent, like Santa Claus vibes. And Mercury is over here like, hey, Jupiter, what up? And then they're like chumming it together, you know what I'm saying? And they're naturally not so, how do I say, friendly towards each other all the time, because just like Venus and Mars, they're opposing forces on the axis. But when they do get along and jive, it's really beautiful. And, you know, Saturn's at the party, so it's a stern arrangement, perhaps. Venus just dipped, like, no, I'm out of Aquarius, y'all. I'm into Pisces. You can see freshly at 1 degree of Pisces here. But with that said, I still think this is benevolent energy to benefit, especially because we have such a tight orb, 4 degrees there. So anyway, I'm going to take that optimistically. And plus, Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius in ancient astrology, not Uranus. That's a modern thing, which is great. I acknowledge both, you know. But originally Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius, and it's actually in better dignity or health when it is in the sign of Aquarius rather than the sign of Capricorn, which it also rules. So the fact that Saturn is in its best possible place by ancient rulership standards, not like over here in Libra, for any nerds watching this, I'm just going to move on my point in respect to the nerds. But the point is, I think that this Jupiter-Mercury conjunction is elevated by the presence of the ruling planet of Aquarius. And that will make more sense as you learn more astrology. If right now you're listening, you're like, what the fuck? That's going to make way much more sense in the future of you learning this whole art form. But with that said, moving right along, I think that there's going to be this acknowledgement of your fifth house in this process of deep subconscious work. And fifth house, because again, why did we get to the fifth house, Libra? Because Mercury rules your 12th house. And that's why you're having this experience of mercurial energy in the fifth prominent or highlighted, because your 12th house ruler, where the moon is being illuminated under a full moon spectrum, right? That ruler of that sign is Mercury, and Mercury is over here having this tango with these two planets, which is why we just talked about Mercury. So anyway, all that to say, in this chart that I pulled in front of me, you can see that Mercury is squaring Uranus at the time of this, which is fascinating because Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. So I feel like there's some tension between what you want to do for play, what you want to do for enjoyment, what you want to do for your creative arts, what you're producing, things you're making, fifth house related themes. And also these are long-term goals because Saturn is at the party and represents long-term significance. And I think there's some tension between that, whatever your fifth house pleasure, long-term interests are perhaps, or even romantic flings that you're looking to turn into something serious. For example, fifth house Saturn transit, very much like a possibility, right, under that energy. But all that to say, I think there's some tension there between communicating that to somebody else. And there's also enlightenment vibes that are present for a conversation, because Uranus, if you look up Uranus, Uranus is the planet of enlightenment and the planet of lightning bolt, electric epiphany, genius, quirky energy. And if you think about geniuses or people who are advancers, they're always seen as a little different. And why is that? Because you have to exist at a different state of consciousness in order to bring in a new state of consciousness. I know, mind-boggling, right? Fucking amazing. But in the real though, the relevance to this is that Uranus is making a square to this Mercury, and Mercury is the ruling planet of this full moon. So anyway, all that to say, I'm getting a little too deep. I need to move on to my next sign here. But Libra, I think there is some stuff talking about eighth house investments. This could be mutual money. This is funny how things play on people's lives, right? Mutual money, because eighth house rules mutual finances, shared finances, or other people's money. If it's not your money and you're seeking an investment, Libra, or you're seeking some type of a loan, because eighth house rules those sorts of things, that could be something that's coming into tension with what you're communicating out in the world to somebody or to the world that you want to manifest through fun, but make it a serious long-time pursuit at the same time, or make it part of a ritual that occurs in your life more seriously in a more tangible, concrete way. And it could be in pursuit of higher knowledge even, or philosophy. I mean, go look this stuff up. It's like you can verify every single thing. It's insane. It's just astrology is so unfathomably cool how this plays out in everyday life. All that to say, let us move forward. We're going on over to Aquariuses, and then we're going to end with Geminis. Okay, Aquarius, ascendant, sun, or moon. Peoples. This is your forecast for what's going to be going on. First off, Aquarius, this full moon in Virgo is your 8th house. So this is the house of other people's money, other people's resources, investments, loans, mutual bonding, inheritance, death, things of that sort of nature. So if you are an Aquarius ascendant, sun, or moon, you could very well have significant awareness points come up around those themes in your life. Are you an Aquarius who has loans out? Are you an Aquarius who has given a loan to somebody? Are you an Aquarius looking for a loan? Are you Aquarius looking to merge with a business partner on a deal and seek investors? These are all 8th house themes. Are you an Aquarius who has your own business and you're looking to level up, and it's going to take some investment capital to get there? This is all 8th house stuff. So this is, or, you know, you might have a death. I'm not like trying to sugarcoat it. There might be a death in the family. There might be a death. I don't know. You know, I don't know your life. I don't know your circumstances. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but the 8th house does rule death. So there's that. Now, also Aquarius, this could be transformation, psychological transformation, deep, insightful knowledge of the occult, even because the 8th house and the 12th house are both the most very occult houses. And so anyway, like magic, energy, tarot, astrology, that's what I mean when I say like occult, higher knowledge, things like that. So all that to say, through Virgo means could be like herbs as a gateway, or like technician, like crafts, skill kind of like means, because Virgo rules all of that. So, but to learn more about this lunation, okay, Aquarius, we got to look at Mercury, because Mercury rules the sign that the moon is in. So Mercury in this chart, as you can see, is in your sign. It's in your first house of Aquarius, which is huge because the dispositor of the moon, that's the ruling planet of the sign the moon is in at the time of the lunation event, is in your first house. And so this is going to be telling about your own personal experience at like a deep level of identity, and how you interface with the world at a very day-to-day level. The first house rules like the filter through which other people experience your energy. Nobody really knows your energy but you. If you want to get really raunchy and real about it, nobody really knows your energy but you. There's always some facade or some, like, even if it's the most genuine embodiment of bodydom, that's the moon, or excuse me, that's the first house. So in this instance, I don't know why I said moon, because moon is actually really shapeshifty. So maybe I'm thinking about like a moon in Gemini, or like a moon even in Cancer can be really like shapeshifty like that. But anyway, all that to say, Aquarius, the first house is your interface with the world. It's the filter through which the world sees you. So that's just something to think about with this. And also it's how you go about, you know, intentionally crafting that. And we're all aware of that at some point. That's why we put on a LinkedIn. That's why we put on a resume. That's why we put on something like a suit. It's all very first house themes. It's appearance oriented, because the ascendant is what was on the eastern horizon at the time that you were born. So it's what was rising in consciousness. Eastern rises. You feel the sun rises in the east. Astrology is so dope. It goes so deep into different things. All that to say, Aquarius, the fact that the Mercury rules this full moon in Virgo and is in your first house means that the moon's energy is going to be in the first house. So maybe that's why I said all of that as the moon earlier, because it is in a certain way the moon energy there. The dispositor of the moon is there in that first house. So you're also, because Mercury is freshly forward moving, which is great because Mercury retrogrades aren't the best. I mean, they can be for certain things, but you know, they're kind of just, they can be annoying. Like, so much annoying things can happen, and it's just like, you know, you got to deal with it. It's Mercury retrograde, but that's what it is. All that to say, like, I'm not trying to diss on no Mercury retrograde, because all the cycles have their reason and their season, and everything has a purpose. But all that to say, you know, it's freshly forward moving, which is refreshing. And I think this sets the tone for not only the collective experience, but you personally, with that representative of the moon, with that Mercury in the first house, you're going to be feeling this sense of revitalization. The first house is the most personal house as well. So you're going to be feeling the sense of being revitalized and awake and kind of like back on track. Like you got your jam back together. You're back on your game. You're back on your square, so to speak. That's kind of what I'm like drawing your attention to, Aquarius. I feel like that's what's going to happen for you. One moment. Yeah. The other thing to bring up is that, you know, this is 8th house, so you're being called to like transform something. Even in the best of cases, you're being called to transform, Aquarius. So don't forget to transform your life. You're being asked to transform your life in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through severance or union, or just pursuit of what is like a cult. You're being called to like walk into your transformation power. Another reason that is because not only is Mercury gone freshly forward, but Saturn is with you right now, and Saturn is your ruler. Saturn is you all. Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius. So the fact that Saturn is with you is a call to construct, put the roots in the ground, put the bones together, put the Legos together to build a structure. You know, Saturn is structure. So, and it's in the first house and it rules you. So Think about that. Like, you're being called to restructure your whole life. And this little 30-day cycle, this little 4-week moment that we're looking at right now in this larger 3-year spectrum of time, that is a Saturn transit to your, sign. Yeah, I mean, this little spectrum of this 30 days is all about walking in your transformation ability, your transformation power. And it can be related to Virgo things. So business things, herbal stuff, because Virgo rules plant medicine, even pharmaceutical stuff, who knows? It rules that too, like prescriptions and so forth. So yeah, that's what Virgo is associated with, and that's what you're going to be called to pay more attention to over the next month. The other thing with the moon that I'll quickly note is that it is in harmonious aspect with Uranus, which is going to really influence you as an Aquarius. This is your modern chart ruler, and this is very supportive, which shows me that whatever is coming in that 8th house, it has support from the home, because Uranus is transiting the 4th house of home. So home somehow supports the 8th house. For all the Aquariuses out there, I'll end that on a sugary, sweet note for y'all. And now we are going to check back to the Geminis. Where are the Gemini ascendant, sun, and moon people at? Lauryn Hill is, I think she's a sun Gemini sun. Maybe she's a moon in Gemini. But I think that explains a lot about Lauryn Hill. She's deep. She's a deep thinker. All right, moving on. Gemini, ascendant, sun, or moon people. So if this is you, you're having this, oh man, the moon is showing up in Leo. See how I'm adjusting the times? I don't want to go that way, but for visual sake, I know it's really helpful, Gemini. If we can just at least have it in the same sign that we're talking about. Okay, there we go. You're a Gemini. Perfect. So if this is you, you're having this in your 4th house, Gemini. Gemini, 4th house rules home, it rules family, it rules your roots, it rules where you come from. It's the anchor point of your whole soul's experience in this lifetime. So the fact that the 4th house is where this moon is illuminating shows me that you're going to have to be paying more attention over the next 30 days or so to things of home, nature, things of home, things of environment in the roots that you came from. So where did you come from? Who represents that to you? That person, those people, that environment, that's where you're supposed to spend more time, more energy the next 30 days, because the 4th house rules all of those things. Also, however you really feel anchored and grounded at the end of the day, Gemini, you're being asked to ground yourselves for the next 30 days. And you really need to ground yourself because your ruling planet, Mercury, and the ruling planet of this moon, because it's in your other Mercury ruled sign, okay, Virgo, is over here right now. Mercury is in Aquarius right now. And so the fact that it's in Aquarius makes it super brainy, super intense, super duper, just next level intelligent and quirky, and just, all over deeper than most people can even keep up with a lot of the times. They're just into their depths of their mind, Mercury and Aquarius people. So they have a lot of fun going deep. But Mercury is a constant indicator of you, Gemini. It's a constant indicator as well of Virgo. And so the fact that it's currently transiting this Aquarius energy, it reflects that on you. It reflects that on this moon that your sister sign, Virgo, is also ruled by. So you're coming into this clarity moment because Mercury just stopped going retrograde. It's finally direct at the time of this lunation. And so you're coming to this awareness in 9th house about your spirituality, especially because Jupiter is there, about whether or not you need to be in a higher study or pursuing higher education, about whether or not you want to engage with certain philosophies, or how rather you want to engage with philosophies. Either way, it could be about denial too. Saturn is there, learning when you need to say no to different philosophical belief systems than yours, Gemini. All that is being talked about now, probably in the home environment, to be real, because the moon is there in that 4th house. So there's probably some conflict in the home front, Gemini, that is getting awareness right now. And it's you getting a download on how to actually deal with it, where it's going to be better, where it's going to be more harmonious for you, and more you're going to feel like you have the tools to cope with it and to deal with it, and that it's not going to be the end of the world. And, you know, Uranus is sending that positive trine vibe from your 12th house. So that's like epiphanies from angelic forces, 12th house, or through dreams. You might dream up the solution. Keep a little journal next to you the next 30 days, Gemini, for when you first wake up, you can write things down. Okay. So yeah, spiritual belief systems, philosophy, higher education, those are themes you're going to see like an awareness of, Gemini, at this time, and feel like you have figured out. You've been contemplating it. You've been like really trying to figure it out. But now you feel like, okay, I figured it out. And this could be like related to not only belief systems and philosophy and higher education, but also like any type of like spiritual work and pursuits that you have, like a practice. Okay. Cool. All right. So with that said, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you want to join us this Saturday for a live full moon jam, don't forget that the link to my email address rather is down below in the description box. And I look forward to seeing y'all there. With that said, through next time, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.